Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Uncensored Critic podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It means the world to me. Thank you very, very, very much. And today we have someone very, very special on today. Someone who you've seen grace our screens via Netflix in a show I'll mention in just a moment. And that, of course, is Genevieve. Oh, I should have said this before. How do I say your surname, Genevieve?
Genevieve, no one could say it. Genevieve Chenneour.
Chenneour. Chenneour.
Chenneour.
Chenneour.
Like
Yeah.
nah.
Sure. No. Sure. No. Okay. I'm gonna write that down. Okay. Genevieve Chenneour. Is that right?
Chenneour.
Chenneour.
Go. It's like a Chenneour.
Chenneour. Okay, Genevieve Chenneour. There we go. So Genevieve Chenneour, let's take a moment to introduce her right now for anyone who might not be familiar. So Genevieve is a former Team GB swimmer turned actor and has participated in so many things recently. For film, she has featured in the feature film 1242, Gateway to the West, and many short films, including Already I'm Complicated, The Higher Path, The Impending White Light, and Diary of a Ghost, which is currently streaming on YouTube right now. For music videos, she's been a part of the Magic Gang for Feeling Better, Fredo, Money Talks featuring Dave, and Calum Scott music video, Biblical, where she puts her swimming skills to the test, to perfect use. For TV, she has appeared in The Secret Life of Twins, Trigonometry for BBC Two, and again, another synchronized swimmer part, Britannia, and she has just wrapped on another Netflix show due for release later this year, and it's a third season, and that's all we can say on that one. And of course, another show, which you might be familiar with, called Bridgerton. And if that's not enough, she's also appeared in some of the best commercials to date, including for British Airways, Oral-B, Royal Enfield, and eBay. So I could go on, but that would delay the moment when I say, Genevieve, welcome.
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me. You make
Thank
me
you.
feel like yeah, that's really nice to listen because I think there's like a slight snobbery in our industry in terms of when people go, what have you been in? And it's
Mm,
usually the big names that they want to listen to.
yeah.
And most of us have done so many projects to get to that point. So it was nice to hear the other stuff as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all you. It's your CV. I think every job is something to be proud of. And sometimes if we have done something, they say that we've worked. We've contributed. We've done our bit and everything, which I think is more important than ever. But all that and much more in just a moment. So, in your case, Genevieve, we start at the beginning. So, where did it come from? The love of acting, being in this business. Where did it start?
So I was a former Team GB Olympic synchronized swimmer,
Hmm.
um, and I was the soloist. So it's now been called artistic swimming. So it's all about artistry. And essentially, when you're a soloist, you choose a piece of music. So one of my solos was I Put a Spell on You by, I think, Nina Simone.
Hmm.
And the choreography was all about a woman full of passion and it included like female rage, but also some really beautiful movements. And then the costume that I was wearing was this incredible pink costume, but it had like these black bands across it, which is actually what kept it on. So it was almost like a piece of art in itself. And I worked with a costume designer on that. So artistic swimming is really physical theatre. It's kind of like the circus. It's a show, it's a performance, and it's telling a story. And when you move through the water, you have to do it with so much passion and power because of the nature of swimming. You have to be really powerful. And so you're trained to express yourself physically. So when I retired, I moved into the world of underwater stunts and I started training for the British Stunt Register. I decided not to get on the register despite passing multiple tests because I wanted to pursue acting. And because of my unique skill set in swimming and my experience, I was being employed by stunt coordinators who were on the register because they didn't have anyone on the register that was perfect for the job. So I was getting jobs anyway through these incredible stunt coordinators. And, I was on set for 16 hours and handling firearms, motorbike riding, fighting, doing underwater stunts. And I worked with some really incredible actors, but it felt like something was missing for me. And it was the opportunity to fully express myself. And with stunts, you're physically expressing yourself. But again, a lot of it is quite methodical because of the nature of the job. And I was really watching these actors and thinking, that's what I want to do. I think that's what I want to do. So I went to an acting class and went really well. And then the acting teacher asked me if I wanted to join for these other classes that he was doing after my course had finished. Um, so I started going to those, and I remember my first proper class with him was this improv class, and basically I had to sit in the room, and then other actors who were training had to come up to me and we improvised together, but I wasn't allowed to decide where the scene was going. So I was totally a reflection of what they were bringing in. And I ended up playing this woman who was at the end of her life, um, saying goodbye to her daughter. And I had the most profound experience where I actually almost like became a vessel to this experience. And I was able to just be so present in it. I was crying and it was incredible. And I remember when the teacher said cut, it's like end of scene. And I looked up and everyone was crying. And I was like,
Wow.
this is what I'm meant to do. Like this is a hunt, this is what I meant to do. And then that's when I like it's like a drug. Once you've experienced that and you're able to realize that you have so many tools in your own mind,
Hmm.
have such amazing experiences and create and move people. So yeah, and then I just started doing extra work because I couldn't afford drama school,
Hmm.
as well as doing my stunts. And I went for extra work that was usually a line or two lines because they do sometimes cast like that. Got really lucky. Ended up having an improv scene with Josh Gad and Zach Woods with Laurie there. Yeah, ended up then getting on Britannia and working with Sophie Okoneto and I think I've said that right, and David Morrissey,
Wow.
playing Acolyte. And these opportunities that I'd actually got through extra agencies just kept on building and building and building. And it just felt like someone was looking out for me because I never really fitted into the crowds, always got these quite incredible opportunities.
Mm.
And then went to an acting class. I got taken out to a casino afterwards by an agent that was at the acting class, and he signed me, got me on Spotlight, and then just been hustling since.
Wow. It was why a casino? Why did he take
I
you to
have no idea. It was so weird.
a casino? Surely, like you hear like these meetings, they take you out for a nice lunch or a nice dinner or something. It's, no,
Yeah.
let's go and gamble.
It was a dinner at the Hippodrome Casino.
Oh, Hippodrome Casino. Oh, right, yeah. That was in Bristol, right?
The one in London. It's like near. I was in central, like Piccadilly kind of area.
Okay, okay. Wow.
That's that.
Yeah, never heard that before. God, let's go for a meeting. Where are we going? A casino. Let's go and gamble.
Honestly, I had nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's great. It's yeah, you go to a casino with nothing to lose, and you know this industry, funny enough, is a gamble. So there's a lot of symbolism in that. So yeah,
That's very true. That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Who knows? I mean, us artists, you know, we create scenarios for ourselves, and people go, "Oh, you're such an actor. You're such a person for saying that." Yeah, it's what we do. It's what
Yeah.
it's what we do.
Oh, people love the stereotype of being like, oh, you're such an actor.
Yeah,
In turn, we could say, oh, you're such a corporate person.
yeah.
Like, we don't.
Doesn't, and then they'll look at you and go, "You can't say that to me." So, well, how do you think we feel when you say that to us?
I think there's a deep jealousy, to be honest. I think if you're surviving like this industry and this career and you're managing to find joy and purpose and get out of bed every day despite not being on set on a major feature film or whatever,
Mm,
I think there's a jealousy because essentially we are quite free.
mm.
Um, and I think a lot of people can't quite understand that despite the lack of infrastructure around us, that we're still fulfilled.
We're still happy, you know. And you know, I did an interview with Sam Valentine, from America, and she's got her own podcast called One Broke Actress. You know, it's wherever you get your shows. And I remember listening to one episode, and it's in our episode actually. I quoted it in front of her, and she talked about how just sometimes when you're not working, you're not on set, you know, you always got to keep yourself happy, keep yourself fulfilled, like have little side hustle project, or like start, I don't know, start a podcast or something, or do something that keeps you involved one way or another, and don't see it as like the be all and end all. And one of my favorite quotes of hers is, everything else is just icing on the motherfucking cake. And I just think that's brilliant. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought, I've got to get that in somehow. And I did. And, she was like, "Wow, you're making me sound so good. Thank you so much." And I was like, that's just a brilliant quote and I love it. But anyway,
It's true, like that's the, you know why you're doing this, you know why you're living like this, and like that's the main thing that
mhm,
you do. Then for me, I write, and I write essays, but I write about the industry and I write about my experiences. So it all does feed back in, and it makes you more eloquent and able to actually, when you're on set, to be
mm,
about what films are coming out, previous experiences you've had, you've dissected what it's like to work with this director and all of this stuff. And then people want to work with you because you're actually interesting. But
yeah,
if you're sat around waiting for a job, not dissecting your experiences or creating from them or inspired by them, then it's like,
yeah.
that's how you're impressed.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you're just sat at home on your sofa, just staring at your emails or just staring at your phone, going, "I don't know why they're not calling. I don't know why there's no emails coming through." Well, that's not going to help, is it? That's not going to help anyone. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody else. But yeah, I think it was Dustin Hoffman who said, "If you wait for the job, you'll
Yeah.
die."
Oh yeah, you can't. You'll go insane. You
Mm,
you need to create structure, and it's like I see it as having two lives, two different types of days. I have the
mm,
days when I'm filming, and I have the days when I'm not filming, and I have a routine and a structure for both of them. And I wake up and just obviously sometimes it's that one and sometimes it's that one, but I've got both of them.
exactly. Yeah. Also, quickly, you've got a Substack page, and I've read your article actually, which you wrote very recently, called "I Filmed a Sex Scene." And stuff. Yeah, I mean, now we can get into that a bit later, but no, that was really interesting. I've had a few intimacy coordinators on here and stuff, and they've talked about their practice and such, but I never read it from an actor's perspective before. And like, it wasn't just a day where you turn up on set, you decide what's safe, what's not safe, everything. It was like you describe it's like a 4-day process.
It's like I said it was like dating, didn't I?
Yeah,
It was like
yeah,
the phone call that you have to make sure everything's okay and that
yeah.
like you do this. And then there's the first date, which is like, well, for me, it was a multiple day shoot, which is why it was a 4-day process.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes it's just a 1-day thing. I've worked with multiple intimacy coordinators, and a friend of mine, David Thackeray, is a great intimacy coordinator. So um, I think they're really important people to have on side, especially if you're doing independent stuff as well as going for the bigger productions,
Mm,
uh, and working on short films and writing your own stuff because they're able to offer so much guidance. And I know that no matter what happens, I can pick up that phone to him and be like, how does this work? Or how do I do this? And having those people that specialize in that is just so helpful.
yeah. So what was his name again? David
David Thackeray.
Thackeray.
I think I'm
Cool.
saying that right. I'm not good at
Thackeray.
last names.
No, shout out to David. Thank you, sir. So we'll come back to that in a second, but I've got to ask you this. Your Team GB days, as you call it, was that artistic swimming now, not synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, where did the love of being in the water come from?
I, oh, you know what? As someone that thinks and writes, I actually don't really know, which I find really bizarre. I think essentially I was a dancer and a gymnast, and so movement for me was everything.
Mm,
And I've always had this kind of obsession with freedom.
mm,
I think a lot of people, all my friends will say I'm a little bit crazy, but in like the best way. I love freedom. Um, and I remember I would go, my father was military, and so I would go to Shrivenham, which is like a military base, and there's a defense academy there, and only military brats, which are like children of people in the army and stuff like that, are allowed in. And so you drive in, they check the car with guns, you do IDs, you drive through. There was
wow.
helipads, yeah, dog training centers. It was incredible. So I had a very unique childhood, and at the back of this base there was a stables. So I used to go horse riding, and then there was a swimming pool. And so all the kids of all the dads that were in the army and women were there. And so I would get dropped off there sometimes in the summer.
Wow.
And I would just entertain myself, as kids do, and I would create these games, and it was my favorite thing ever. And I used to spend so much time in the water there growing up that I used to have swimming costume marks, tan marks on my back, even in the winter when I was like 10. Anyway, so I just loved exploring and made fantasy worlds for myself as a child. And then I remember watching YouTube, and I was like, ah, you can actually do this properly and actually be professional. And it was like a childhood dream. So I started going to, it was called synchronized swimming then, synchronized swimming lessons. And it just all happened really quickly. I think the years of training as a gymnast and my passion for it, just it all happened really quickly. And next thing I knew, I was like 13 in the England squad, and then I became the soloist, and then I was in GB Great Britain, and then I was representing Team GB, and then I got an Olympic scholarship, and it was like
Wow.
kind of insane whirlwind.
Mm.
Uh, but the thing with elite sport is that if you put in 100%, you get progress, unless you get injured. And the thing with acting is if you put in 100%, you can get progress, but you can do that for 10 years and never get a role. And there's like some incredible stories like that. So it's been really funny moving from elite sport to acting, because the way that the worlds work is totally different. Like, acting is a lot to do with who you know and like your public power.
Hmm.
And being an athlete, I love athletes because you get to be neurotic, obsessed, you get to work hard, you get to fight, you get to kind of show intense passion about something, and there's no shame for it. And that is what the sport and your success is based on. It's got nothing to do with a public profile. That comes if you get medals. So you can be a nobody. Like, so many incredible athletes have come from nothing. Like, I didn't come from a family of money. I grew up in the literal middle of nowhere in Oxfordshire for most of my life. And yeah, I remember watching films on TV, and never did it once come to me that that world was accessible to me. But because I put the work in as an athlete, doors opened for me. And then having that Team GB, kind of being able to say that I was a Team GB athlete, meant that when I decided to become an actor, there was almost some credibility behind me. I could tell people knew that I knew how to work hard. And I think that's what really helped open doors for me. But I think it's really hard to be taken seriously in
I know.
this.
Yeah. I know. We were talking before we came on about, I could get that quote of yours. And again, if someone says to you, "Oh, you're such an actor. You're such an actor," and you wouldn't dream of saying to someone, "Wow, you're a really corporate person." And it's like,
Yeah,
and they would probably be like, I beg your pardon?" It's like, you can't, I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? And it's like, yeah, it hurts, doesn't it? Or it feels
yeah,
weird. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think actors are like I said earlier, actors are inward explorers. The tool, some people play the violin, and the violin is the tool. For us, our brains and our character and our internal world is the tool. And you need to be able to connect to things. And it makes you quite vulnerable, because when when you're doing that, um, you have to look really deep inside yourself. And I actually think for me, what makes me move forward feeling confident that I am a good actor is that I did 3 years of psychotherapy with analytical techniques
Wow.
early on, because after leaving sport and then becoming an actor, and the like network it created in my own body of understanding was like creating almost sheet music for when I went on screen, so I could like read the music inside myself. I don't know how to word that in a better way, but I created such a strong internal world with connections and like a spider's web, that I was like, okay, if I want to feel this, I pull on this. So if I just knew myself, there was an internal map. Um, and so obviously I think some people learn that in drama school.
Hmm.
Um, but for me, yeah, my way into acting was quite unique. And I think learning about yourself and just having life experience was like the best thing to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like, funny enough, in the past 24 hours on your Instagram, actually, you put that little thing on your story saying, ask me a good question or ask me anything you want. And I think someone asked you about, I can't remember what the question was, but I think your response was something along the lines of being an athlete, you gave me that motivation just to keep going and, and go 100% at anything that you do, not 90%, not 95, but 100, you just got to go for it. So do you think like, because it sounds like because you were Team GB at such a young age, having that discipline kind of drilled into you at such a young age and having that athlete mentality, is that
Yeah.
helping you now in your acting, do you think?
Good question. I think yes, and then I think no. I think it means that um, sport is not real life. And Michael Phelps talks about this really, really well in
Mhm.
that as an athlete, you chase perfection and you apply all the tools you had to achieving the best score, the best result to your emotional world as well. And the emotional world, there is no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing as um like an end game. It's gray. The world is not black and white like elite sport. It's gray.
Mm.
Um, and that's been really hard to adjust to. But I think having that like fight in me is really, I think, is the and having the fight, being able to take direction,
Mhm.
um, and being passionate, I think, is what has helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to get another thing in as well. Like we were talking again before we started about your role in the Callum Scott's music video, which was convenient for you. Your part was shot underwater, and you had to, which I've watched and everything, and you do a lot of really nice, excuse me, like sort of like choreography and all that kind of
Mhm.
dancey stuff underwater and stuff. But what's it like? I mean, we were talking about how it's like you get in the water and the director goes, "Okay, so Genevieve, I want you to do this. I mean, are you comfortable with this?" And you're like, "It's cool, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I've got this. I was
Yeah.
born to do this."
Yeah. No, it's funny because often directors, when they work in the water, other than I've worked with Mike Valentine, who
Hmm.
um, shot the underwater scenes in Casino Royale, and he is like the go-to guy for underwater scenes.
Brilliant.
And obviously safety divers. Other than those guys, um, most people have less experience working in the water than me.
Hmm.
And so when I'm brought on set, director will usually, tell me what we're doing and talk me through it, and I understand. And
Yeah.
and it's funny because I often find they're quite nervous because they've not really worked in water before. And so I think they enjoy working with me because it's my specialism, and I'll get in the water and I'll do some moves and stuff. And I love seeing their faces when they look at me and they're like, this woman's a fish.
She can
It's
actually do this.
yeah.
Have you
And then
read my CV?
yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Have you actually looked at my
Yeah.
work? And they settle and you see them relax and know that actually they're working with someone. It's like nobody wants to work with a bad actor. Nobody wants to work with someone that doesn't know what they're doing in the water. And I think a lot of people in this industry will say, yeah, I can horse ride. Yeah, I can swim. Yeah, I can speak this language, do this accent,
Yes.
say yes and then figure it out later.
Yes. I'm
Um,
firearms trained. I can fire a
yeah, yeah.
gun.
And they're not. And I understand why they do it because we all want to get in the room and we all want to get off it in the
Of
door.
course.
But the reality is that when a director actually gets someone that is trained specifically in something and they feel like they're both two kind of experts coming together, it's a lot easier. So it's nice to watch their faces relax and smile and stuff. That's a bit like a drug as well. When I see that, I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How long can you hold your breath underwater?
you know what? I get asked this all the time. I have no idea. because the thing is, I would go until I was basically blacking out as an athlete. So you
Really?
push until you see stars. Yeah. It's a very brutal sport, and especially my experience with the sport was very brutal. And that's something I'm going to be writing about more. But yeah, it's just you just push yourself. There wasn't even time to do the whole how long can you hold your breath thing. It was like get in the pool, do this, and then you're just non-stop exhausted, then
Yeah.
recovering and then back to it. And it's synchronized swimming, artistic swimming is very much about what you can achieve whilst holding your breath.
Hmm.
And the holding the breath part, you can't even think about because you're thinking about the patterns because you're moving patterns underwater while sculling. You're not wearing goggles. You're looking for your teammates. You're listening to counts. You're thinking about movements. Is your leg at the right angle? You're thinking about choreography. You're thinking about passion, facial expressions. It is like all encompassing. It's almost, it's just, it's totally all encompassing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, the closest to astronauts that you can get.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like you go underwater, the pressure they get underwater, and you hear these like horror stories of divers going to not in swimming pools, obviously, but they go to like a bay or for example, I was in Santorini only a few weeks ago, and I heard a story that there was a diver who wanted to see how far down in the Santorini Bay, next to an active volcano, by the way, wanted to go down and see how deep he could go. And of course, he took it way too far, and sadly, he never came back up to the surface.
Wow.
So that was quite scary. But when you're so the
I have
pressure,
a dive buddy with I do free diving, so I had to do
yeah,
my free diving training when I moved into underwater stunts.
oh yeah,
Um, always have a safety diver with you. You
yeah,
never know. People don't understand you can drown in a puddle of water. You can fall face down in a puddle and there's no oxygen for you to breathe
yeah,
properly, so you're gone. So water is like one of those things that I don't personally as an actor really like when people say that they can film in water and they can't because it's actually so dangerous
yeah.
because often it's black as well. You're in a black tank. It's pitch black. The
Hmm.
only light that you see will be maybe from someone filming,
Yeah.
and like a safety light or something. It's pitch black, and if you panic, you're going to probably breathe in water, and you'll probably have to be like resuscitated or whatever. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it. Sometimes I've been pinned down to the bottom of a massive tank before, no goggles and no air, and in a big ball gown, and the director's watching me, and he's like, "Are you ready to do the scene?" And you have to focus, and then a safety diver comes in. I get to take air.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to put it in or out of my mouth. I have to do it myself.
Yeah.
I can't see anything. It's black. All I see is these like little kind of movements. I take it out. I take it out. Last breath. They swim out of shot as quickly as possible. I do the movement. No goggles. No nose clip. If you put your head at the wrong angle, water comes flooding up. You can't get to the top of the surface. You can die, in all honesty. And so
Mhm.
we have like safety. So say I'm doing the scene that you want to give the director as long as possible to have that take. They don't want a 5 second take. They want a minute's long take usually,
A
and they
minute.
want
Oh my God.
variation. So yeah, I'm pushing myself until like you need to be able to figure out how far you can push yourself before you're naturally when you hold your breath for really long periods of time, you get like you suck in. So you start going, it's almost like you gag for air. And so you need to time it so that, I mean, I've probably got 15 seconds. So the moment that that starts happening, I've got 15 seconds probably before I need to get air. So then I ask for air, they come back in. That takes about 10 seconds, depending how close the diver is to you. Um, Put the air back in. Sometimes they can give you a mask. And so you take the mask, you put it on your face, it's still filled with water. You then breathe the mask with air so that it clears. And then I've got vision again. Then I get the director's notes underwater because there's not time to be going up and down.
Hmm.
Take the mask off again, and then we repeat. And I could be there for 6 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Nothing makes me happier than underwater scenes.
Wow. God,
And your eyes will often hurt as well.
yeah. God, were you like a mermaid or something in a previous life?
I used to say that I would rather swim somewhere than walk somewhere.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I spent more time in water than I did upright.
Yeah. Interesting.
About 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, that when you go diving, it's like you have to did you have to equalize a lot as well? Like, which is when you
Yeah.
release the air from the mouthpiece you have.
This is also another thing though that when you're really well trained that you don't have to actively do. So
Okay.
for me, it's just a jaw movement. The way that I equalize would just be like this, like that, or I can do it like this, like that, and like that's it. And you can just do it with jaw movements and stuff. But yeah, and a person that isn't trained in this would probably panic, be like, I need to equalize, I need to equalize. Um, but it's just sensations that I'm completely used to. Like this is my bread and butter. Yeah.
Mm. God. Yeah, that sounds scary. That sounds very scary. But no, no, oh man. I mean, just the thought of doing that. I don't know about you, but funny enough, I was in Greece again a few weeks ago. We did some snorkeling. We went to this like little shipwreck out in the bay or something, and as soon as I got in the water and I looked down, and then you could see what's underneath you, but then of course you look around you, and it's like a cloak. You can't see what's beyond this. It
Oh
looks like
yeah.
it's not like a wall, obviously, because you're in open water, but it looks like an invisible wall that, and it looks like a wall which you can see, not invisible, but you're. It was. I remember just getting in the water, and my heart rate just
People
started to
panic.
go. Yeah,
Water makes people panic, and
yeah,
it's like lie about the fact that you can do an accent, like as an actor, but like no one who's ever lied about water and got the job has had a good time. I've
mm,
heard horror stories. I've even trained stunt people for it because
wow,
you can pass the stunt swim test, but it doesn't mean that you know what it's like to actually do what the director wants. And you know what filmmaking is like. Director wants a shot, they've written it. Um, you got to figure out how to bring it to life. And that could be a bit of CGI, that could be a green screen, that could be incredible talent, that could be but the planning and the funding that goes into this,
yeah,
yeah, I strive myself on being I think I can say this. I think I'm like the best water person for film
yeah.
I think in the UK, without a
Cool.
shadow of a doubt. And I'm always curious when I see other people employed because I'm a bit like, okay.
Yeah. Can do
That's
that.
the only thing I'm arrogant about in life. Everything else I'm probably insecure. That is the one thing I'm arrogant about. So,
Yeah.
if you want.
No, but you've got the experience, and then like I said earlier, it's like when people go, "Oh my God, you're actually good at this." Well, I did give you my CV. It's there in black and white, and I've done this before on an Olympic level, by the way,
Yeah.
as well. If some people just don't read, do they?
I
But
do wonder if people actually read our, like, actually watch our show reels, all of it, and actually research us properly. I've got the most hilarious story for you. I
go on.
did a audition for SodaStream. Hasn't come out, I think because of like politics of what's been happening in the world and the regions that it was meant to be bought for and stuff like that. But fine with me. Still did the job and auditioned. They liked me. I said I was a synchronized swimmer, artistic swimmer. So I forget about it. Agent calls me, Genevieve, are you free to fly to South Africa? You'd have to leave in 4 hours. I
Uh,
go, this is my whole life. I go, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Okay, well, gonna book your flights, and then the director wants to call you. And I was like, perfect, that's fine. Yep, that's finalized. Flights are booked. Director calls me, and he starts talking, and he keeps on mentioning stuff about diving. And I go, I don't really dive. I'm a synchronized swimmer. I said I was a synchronized swimmer.
yeah.
Uh, there was like a bit of miscommunication. He's rushed. They've got all the talent there already. They've got the cinematographer, the clients on his back. I'm there like yeah, I can dive, but like I'm not an Olympic diver. Anyway, so we kind of end the conversation and things feel good, but I'm a little bit confused about what I'm actually doing. And so I arrive in South Africa, stay at this hotel, and then it's mayhem, you know, fittings, meetings, you have to do stills, you have to do like 5 different types of videos, and you've got the main commercial, you've got st like they've got to make a dress for me. Um, I get to where we're filming, one of the locations, and there's a huge diving board. I think it's like 10 meters
Uh-huh.
down. And I'm like, wait, uh, what? So I then there was an Olympic diver there. I had to learn how to dive from that height head first with an Olympic diver, and I had 20 minutes. And so learned to do it. And there's an incredible video. Like I don't know, I can dive now, and I was shit scared, like terrified, and
I bet.
I couldn't tell anyone that. No way. I was fucking scared, but I was like, if I give this 80%, I could hurt myself. If I give this 100% and fully focus and give it everything, I'll learn a new skill and I can do this. And I used to be a gymnast and I was a Team GB synchronous swimmer. I can do this. So I focus, I do it. And then on the day, there's 2 dresses. And between each take, I have to start dry and then end up in the water. So I have to get out, they have to redo my hair and makeup, they have to put the dress back on. There's a team of 4 people drying this dress. If I do the dive badly or imperfectly, it has to be perfect, feet pointed together, like perfect angle. You have to do it from different heights. If I do it wrong, that's another 20 minutes, half an hour added on the clock because of this other dress.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a crazy story, that one. But it worked, and everyone was mind blown and really happy. So,
Jesus. But when that footage comes out, let me know. I want to see that. I want to see.
I can show you a little, I've got like a tiny clip of it
Yeah.
uh, here, but I don't think it's going to be coming out because of the region that it
Okay.
was meant to be going to. But sometimes it works out better that way because then you can go for other jobs that aren't, you know, here you go. Oh,
Hang on.
oh,
Wow.
oh, it's really bad.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. All in a day.
Yeah, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Yeah.
Bloody hell. And how long's the flight to South Africa? Is what, 10 hours?
Quite long. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's 10 hours.
Jesus.
But
Wow. He just
I,
got off a plane, jet lag. I know South Africa, the time difference is not actually quite similar to the UK, maybe just an hour or two's difference like Europe, because, geographically we're quite in the same sort of zone, I think. But still, 10 hours on a plane, and then you get
Mm.
off, bang, 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 done. And then what, did you fly home that night? Please tell me they gave you a hotel for
Oh
the
no,
night.
it was a 10-day shoot.
I was attending. Okay, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we had to film so many different things and then so many different locations. It was really nice because I have a few friends in South Africa, so I got to see them while I was there.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Well, it made a nice trip in the end. A bit of a stressful start though, but
Mm.
then
Yeah, I think you get addicted, to be honest, with this industry, you get addicted. It's like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you just get addicted to the buzz and the pressure and the can you do this? And uh it's and the adrenaline. I love it.
yeah. Gosh, wow. That's, I mean, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant that you were able to do that. And I don't know. It's like, I mean, like diving and stuff. Obviously, we could talk about water for ages, but I've got other things to move on to. But
Yeah, acting.
but yeah, no. But it sounds incredible. I mean, just I'll ask this last one, then we move on to your acting stuff. But so you've been in the ocean, right? You've done like some scuba diving at some point, right?
Yeah, well, I paid for my dive master, and I'm a rescue diver. So yeah,
Oh wow. So like what sort of stuff have you seen? Sharks? Have you seen like seahorses and octopuses and you've
I
seen
was taken a yeah. My dad lived in Somalia for 11 years growing up, so I went diving illegally in a place called Mombasa so I drove from Nairobi at the age of about 12 to Mombasa. That's a story time. Yeah, I was diving illegally. This guy called Ringo Starr owned a catamaran made by driftwood and took me out to the like Coral Bay. And then we also went scuba diving. We went so far down that it was black, and I saw squids and sharks and all sorts of stuff. And there's a picture of me holding a massive pufferfish blown up, which I later realized was very poisonous. Um, yeah, and that was an adventure. Also got charged at by a bull elephant that tried to flip the car, and we broke down, and I got locked into a cupboard with a drug dealer because our car broke down, and my dad, I think, paid him to keep me in the cupboard safe so that he could go and find help. My life is not normal. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've lived, Genevieve. You really have. Oh my God. So I can have you here all day just talking about these stories. Really could. But anyway, brilliant. A little bit acting. So we'll talk about Bridgerton in just a moment, but I want to get this short film in now, which I know you did. I think it was a fairly recent shoot. It was The Diary of a Ghost, which you did, which is on YouTube now, guys. I'll put a link down below. Go and watch it. It's a lovely film. It does deal with quite a triggering topic. It talks about grief and like the aftermath of a loved one passing away. So just so you know, in case anyone is affected by that, but it does deal with it head on. But it was a really lovely little film. And, I said to you before we started, like your performance had such a delicate sensitivity to it. And what I mean by that is like you were playing the character, which I've forgotten the name of your, sorry?
Paige Evans, she was called.
Paige Evans. Yeah.
Paige.
And like I said, there's this very delicate sensitivity where, of course, you were playing the character who had lost her boyfriend, and it felt like any word said to you could have just like a pinprick to a balloon, just and
Yeah.
suddenly it was game over. Yeah, how was that experience?
You know what? It was actually quite hard. I learned a lot from it. It wasn't hard in terms of it was hard. How do I word this? When I'm usually brought on set, it's to play someone that I've never played a dark person on screen, a dark energy, a dark character like that on screen before.
Right.
And so um, I have played powerful women, beautiful women, sexy women, the girlfriend, and so when I'm on set, it's like, yeah, I know my lines. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I've learned enough about the character. I'll enjoy the day and I'll make conversations over coffee with people and enjoy my lunch, enjoy my lunch break. I couldn't do that because the switching between myself and like I love people and I love talking to people
Hmm.
and playing this person who had such a deep, sad, heavy inner world. And not just that, but a deep, sad, heavy inner world in a public space, which I think is what made it so hard to do because I think we've all, and if you haven't gone through a really hard time in life, you will go through a hard time in life. This is the inevitability of
Yeah,
life, is like it can
part of
be,
the experience. Yeah.
yeah, it can be awful. Life can be awful. But I
Mm.
think we all relate to the fact that when we go out, say a friend wants to meet us, it's like we put our bravest faces on. We don't want to show up like them knowing that. I mean, this girl had prolonged grief disorder, so it's a form of psychosis in a way, I
Wow.
believe. Um, if you were going through such extreme feelings, you would want to naturally hide it from people in your
Mm.
life. You would want to get help, you would want to deal with it. That's how people work. We're all riddled with shame because of society and the structure that we have around us now. And so it was like a balancing act of being like, okay, my character wants to hide this, but she's at the point where she can't hide it anymore,
Mm.
which means that what she's got inside of her has to be so big. And you can't imitate that. You can't look at someone and pretend. You've got to go there. You've got to feel it. And so I had this playlist that I made that evoked a lot of feeling in me. And I spent a lot of time like in the bar. I didn't get a trailer because it was like a short film. So I spent a lot of time in the bathroom, like just kind of like thinking, and everyone else was like talking and laughing, and I had to be quite serious um, because I thought this was such a wonderful opportunity as an actor that I didn't want to do it and it not be someone watching it and going, that is such a real, honest performance. I wanted to push myself as much as possible. So I
Yeah.
did that. And I'm really glad I did because I'm really happy with the performance. But at the same time, I struggle to watch it
Mm.
because the heaviness in her face, I wasn't really allowed makeup. My hair was like totally natural. Had to really like explore this character, and I have so much more respect now for people that play dark characters for extended periods of time.
Mm.
Like those kind of people taking those roles, like they really need protecting on set. I learned so much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that opportunity was wonderful. The director, Carrie, had met me on an underwater commercial where I was doing the acting and an underwater scene. And I think she was the COVID supervisor. And she approached me about the role. And I had gone through grief quite recently. So
All right.
when we were talking, it was like she didn't have to over explain things to me. I was like, when you know grief, you know grief. And everybody is going to go through grief at some point in their life. And I was going through it. And, grief, they say, is it's like carrying something with you wherever you go.
Mm.
And it will never go. You have to carry it with you everywhere, but it will get lighter and you'll get better at carrying it and you'll figure out how to carry it.
Yeah.
I'd It'd been quite heavy for me carrying it for like the last year and it had just got lighter. And so I felt in a really good place to take the role because I had processed a lot of my own grief and thought, well, now I have this incredible knowledge about grief. This is a great time for me to play this character. And yeah, I like films that make people feel seen and make people feel like they can start a conversation. And yeah, lots of tears when
Yeah.
that finished on screen at the screening. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's like the release of that as well. I suppose a big question really to follow that really is, you know, obviously I'm not going to ask you the details because it's not my business, but having come from a real lived experience of grief and then mourning for someone in your life, and then you're coming to this film, and already as a spectator you feel the heaviness, you feel the darkness, you feel like there's something, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you get a vibe of this is someone who can't get better. Like it's not like,
Yeah.
or she finds it very, very hard to get better on, and you start to question, will it get better?
This is someone that didn't want to get better and that's, I think, what part of the story is about is that there's an expression that says when something bad happens or you lose someone or you've grown up in an abusive situation or you've dealt with abuse or you've just had something that you identify with because you identify with what's happened to you, when to let go of the identity, even the painful one, is also to lose a part of your identity. And that's really scary for people because we all want to have an idea of who we are. And when something bad happens to you, you have to process it and then you have to no longer identify with it. And it's a story from the past. And that's how you move on from bad things.
Yeah.
But some people, like Sage, my character, she couldn't not identify with it. And I think that's when um, society is like a little bit behind, is that she couldn't not identify with it. Because if she stopped identifying with the reason that she was going through all of this, then she would be, in a way, admitting to herself that she didn't love her ex-boyfriend and that it meant nothing to her. And so, in another universe or in another film, or if it was a feature film, or it was like a spin-off of what could happen,
Mm.
it would be her friend tried to intervene, but the other reality would be she had a support system around her that took care of her, made her feel needed as much as her ex-boyfriend felt needed. And then she was able to contextualize the loss because she felt so supported and loved. So it was like a story of someone who become really vulnerable because they were isolated.
Mm.
That's why when you're watching it, it's so heavy because um, it's like an equation, it just was minus, 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 minus. And so you're like, well, what's going to happen? There's no one adding anything to help her up. And we don't survive life on our own, like without becoming too philosophical. People that go, oh, I made it on my own. I'm self-made. You're not.
No,
You're not.
no,
No one is because
that's a lie.
yeah, I mean, look at wolves when they die. Sorry, when they're alone. If they're not a part of a pack, they die. They
Mm.
they apparently can just die, and humans shouldn't be isolated either. And even if you didn't come from money, there would have been someone in your ear saying you can do this. There would have been a friend that met you for a coffee maybe once a week. There would have been maybe your religion and your church. There would have been that you're never completely self-made, because if that was the case, then you wouldn't survive life. And I think that's what's so sad about this character. Even thinking about it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like such a vulnerable character. She just have and her friend tried to.
She tried so. I mean that scene in the pub where you guys like you're getting another round in, and then she. I mean, again, I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically the guilt or the grief kicks in, and it's a point where I don't want to be in public anymore. I've got to go home. And when
Yeah.
and she's going to her like, no, 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 just stay. Look, I've got a drink in. Look,
Can't get through.
just talk to me. I don't know if this was a line, but I think the vibe from your scene partner in that moment was just saying, just talk to me,
Yeah,
talk to
come
me
on, let's
about.
move forward.
Let's move forward. Yeah, come on. You can't. I think she even mentioned like you can't just sit at home by yourself all the time. You've got to get
But
out.
then that's also an insult to the character, because the
Yeah,
character had prolonged grief disorder and was, seeing her ex-boyfriend and writing to her ex-boyfriend, who
yeah,
her boyfriend who had died, not ex. And so staying close to that depression and staying close to that pain was also a blanket. It was like it was safety, it was familiar. And I think if it had been a feature film, I think this would there would have had to be something that led up to the reason why she had this reaction, whether that be when she was dating her boyfriend. We talk about her grandmother as in a care home. So
mm,
I imagine that she didn't have parents around and that she lived with her grandmother, who then went into care. And so she lost multiple things, multiple support systems. Um, but yeah, this film really, I really hope I has started some great conversations.
yeah,
Breaks my heart thinking about that character. Um, but yeah, I think it should hammer home to people that every interaction that you have with someone, you
yeah.
should you should be as kind as possible. And that's not being a pushover, but you don't know when that last person's last had a nice interaction with someone else.
Mm,
Like, and I had a bit of a debate at the screening of a theatre. I went to go and watch Punch, which my wonderful friend Jacob, um, it's his life on stage. And he turned it into a play and it's doing really well. And went to the after party. And I was talking to this man, and he was like 6 foot something, had 3 children, went to private school, was very, I don't want to say stereotype, but
mm,
we were talking because of the play, and it's about a person that's vulnerable, that didn't have the parental support and guidance that they needed, falling into a way of life that wasn't healthy. I was like to him, "Oh, I think this is to do with community." And he went, "No, it's to do with parents, all to do with parents." And I went, "No, it's not. It's to do with community, because as long as you say it's parents, what about the children that are in care? Are you just signing them off the moment that they're given over? Or
mm.
do you think they're anybody's responsibility? Like, how can we progress as society if we are so individualistic?" And I'll happily debate with people about this kind of stuff, and he hated it. But it was like quite fascinating. And I was like, what about the the women who stay at home when their husbands are at war? What about like they're single parents?
Yeah.
Um, he was like from parents, but I really believe that society needs more community, and we need to take better care of each other, and we need to have harder but calm conversations.
Mm,
And we need to every interact we need to know our neighbors, we need to know the people that we buy our stuff from at the shops, we need to know where our food's coming. I think this is why I think there's such a big decline in mental health and stuff like that. And
yeah.
um, this project was really good because it got to start conversations like that. And as someone that's an artist and a storyteller and a writer,
Mm,
isn't that what like this is really all about? You know,
yeah.
unless you're egotistical, which I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, absolutely not. I think I'm reminded of there's a quote from Brecht where he says, "Art is not a mirror in which to reflect reality, but a hammer with which to shape it." And
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like, yeah, we can help, we can make a difference. Obviously, we are showing life for what it is.
yeah.
But as a result of that, we want to make a change. We want to have more people have these conversations and, just talk to people. And like you say, there's always that phrase. I heard that, funny enough, I saw this on social media actually, and actually it was one of the rare gems on social media, which does actually give out good stuff. And they said, everyone's fighting a battle which you know nothing about. Be
Yeah.
kind always.
Yeah.
And it's very true. It's very true.
I
I mean,
promise.
yeah.
Every
Yeah, and it's reminded me. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you follow football very much or anything. If you're a football family or something, but so there's was it Coventry City who did this? Yeah, I think it was
I don't
Coventry.
like how much money they earn.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry, but
yeah,
it irritates me, and I've struggled to support it for that reason because the
yeah.
women aren't paid fairly, as fair as the men either. So it
I know.
irritates me. But go on.
I know that's a whole other conversation. But no, there was. I think it was Norwich or was it Norwich or Coventry? One of the two. They had green and yellow in their kit. So, and they did this brilliant advert where they showed two fans like it goes to games looks like pretty much by themselves.
Oh,
You've seen this one, yeah?
yes, the female.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that was a masterpiece.
it was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen it, basically there's these two football fans, and one is really hyped up and really friendly, and he's like, "How you feeling, man? How you feeling?" And the other one's you can see he's just down in the dumps. All he wants to do is cry, but you can see like he's got every muscle, every ounce of energy that he's had. He's got himself out of bed and out of the house, and he's come to watch the football. And sadly, that I think one of the things we learned over COVID actually was that football does so much for so many people. They live for 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon or whatever. Yeah, the community. And but anyway, the advert goes on. It's like then the next match, the same thing. The next match, the same thing. How you doing, mate? Yeah, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. And then next, it cuts to the third or fourth match, and then the guy who's down in the dumps then comes in and then puts a scarf over the seat where the optimistic guy was, and then you go, oh shit, yeah.
You spent the whole time watching it worrying about the one that's a little bit quiet and reserved. And what you actually don't realize is the guy that was smiling, that was showing up and giving his best. And
Mm,
he was fighting to have a good time. And he was fighting to have a good interaction with his mate because you don't know what if he had had anybody else in his life, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Um, no, that was a really good. What was it? A commercial?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it wasn't like your typical commercials you have on like the TV and stuff. I think I saw it on YouTube actually. So every now and then, thankfully, we've got more charities now like who are dedicated to mental health, and you got the Samaritans, you've got yeah, there's probably others I can't remember the names, but there's more than one now.
Yeah.
And I think football clubs. And I'm a big Arsenal fan, so in fact,
I like
Arsenal.
Arsenal. That
Yeah,
is the one. That's the one I've gone and seen. I used to live near the stadium for a
did
bit,
you?
so
All right,
yeah.
I like you even more now, Genevieve. But yeah, Arsenal actually released. Funny enough, again on Instagram recently. Like they put a microphone outside the stadium, outside the Emirates, and they said anyone who wants to say anything about mental health, just help yourself. And then it cuts to the players going into the training ground. You've got Bukayo Saka going. I think his quote was, "God always has a plan. Keep moving."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I could not agree with him more because I'm a spiritual person. I believe that all of us have got a path, and even though we can't see it, that's where the surprises come, when we just follow our
That's
instincts.
when you can't see it. That's when every night I go to bed and they used to say, like, if you can't see, count sheep.
Mm.
If I don't
Yeah.
do that, if I go to bed and I I think visualization is one of the most powerful tools, but I always go to myself, something wonderful is going to happen tomorrow. Something wonderful is going to happen tomorrow. And I repeat that in my head until I fall asleep, and
Mm.
that's it.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm quite passionate about how um, I don't like the term mental illness. We've all witnessed people that are really struggling, and most people will struggle at some point in their life. But I actually believe that, okay, say like Sage, my character, say you lost five things in a year. Would it not be mental illness to be happy and out partying and doing your 9 to 5 in life to be perfect? Would that not actually be what be meant? That would be disturbing to have that reaction.
Yeah.
What would be normal would be to be struggling because it meant that you've lost something that you loved. So,
Mm.
and society will go, she was mentally ill, my character. But actually, no, she was having a reaction to life, and life can be brutal. And we have things called safety factors, which make you want to keep living. And so I researched all about this when I was playing her. And
Mhm.
safety factors are like, it could be a dog, it could be a holiday coming up, it could be a best friend, it could be it's whatever makes you really want. It's your purpose. It's why you want to be here. It's what
Mm.
future. She didn't have any of those.
Mm.
And so she didn't know how to create any of those because the people that she would have created them with were all gone. Her best friend was in New York studying at university. Her grandmother was, I think, had probably dementia in a care home. She lost her ex-boyfriend.
Wow.
She Her job was unfulfilling spiritually. No one cared about her. She was just working for someone and on a paycheck. So and yeah, society would say she's mentally unwell. And what I would have liked to have said is she's having a reaction and there's no support system around her to
Yeah.
process what she's doing. And what they say is when you go through traumatic experiences like what she went through,
Mm.
um, the difference between it being consuming, developing PTSD, developing mental illness from it isn't actually what happened. It's the support that you received afterwards. So when this happened, had her grandmother and her best friend been in the country, holding her, talking to her every day, had she got mental health, a therapist to process what had happened, had a support system around her, she would have got through it because she would have processed it, and it would have been awful, but there would have been so much love and support in the present that she was able to let go of it. But when you don't have that love and support and that community, you hold on to the one thing that you thought that you've lost. That was that.
Mm.
So, and don't put all your eggs in one basket, I say. It's like
No,
biggest
absolutely.
just gotta love as many people as possible, love life as much as possible, find love in different places. Because I think the broader your love, um, the safer you
Yeah.
are in this society, and that's what community is meant to do.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, and I feel like, and just to counter that, I feel like when you see someone who, like someone who snaps at you, or someone who's rude to you or something, or says like a derogatory comment, something. When I was a kid, I used to think, oh my God, just people are just born bad, and it's like, well, and now I know that's not true,
I
but it's
really, I think some people, I've been thinking about this recently. I
possibly.
think some people are evil.
Oh yeah, funny enough. Just very quickly, there's someone called. Do you know who Emma Kenny is at all? She's she's a true crime specialist, and I went to see one of her talks actually just up the road last year, and she did a deep dive into the biology of like serial killers and people who
They're
with
wired different. They're not the same as.
yeah, exactly. Then there's and deep narcissists, and it turns out that they took a scan of their brain compared to someone who's not a narcissist, and the narcissist had basically can't remember. I'm going to get this heavily paraphrased here now, but the narcissist brain had overgrown on areas where our brain tells us to be empathetic and to be kind and stuff like that. Those areas were not fully developed at all.
Uh,
So the brain actually was more wired and more accustomed to narcissistic behavior, so control, putting other people down, not reading the room, just all those typical things, and therefore that can lead to people going down a very, 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 very dark road, and
that's probably the one
yeah,
character I would like to play.
yeah,
I couldn't play a murderer or
yeah.
like the Jeffrey Dahmer series.
Oh, oof. I watched one episode of that. I couldn't finish it. It was,
I watched it, but I watched it because I think I was rushing with adrenaline and unable to stop watching it.
yeah,
Um, it was probably a bit of a distraction as well from it was quite a stressful time of my life. But
yeah.
he had a rough time, I think.
I, I'd
I
be
mean,
surprised if he didn't. Jesus.
yeah, I think he's got a role coming out, and I think it's his first role since in a film. Poor guy. I mean, I hope they paid him enough because
Yeah,
he talked about it. I can't remember from the top of my head, but I remember reading something. Um, yeah, I think the brain, with being an actor, like the brain doesn't, like what we were saying about visualization and stuff like that, the brain doesn't know what's real and what's not real.
yeah,
Visual senses. It's like half unconscious, half conscious. And like consciousness is an onion and I mean I'm all into this, but
yeah. No, me
so I
too.
think when you're acting, you have to like have also protective mechanisms. So when I played Sage, you'll see she had quite a big beauty spot. So it
Mm,
was hard makeup, but I remember going to the director, I need something that separates her from me. I
yeah,
can't, I'm not her.
yeah,
And
exactly.
this beauty spot. And that was enough for me. And like it can also be nails. So for me, it's like in the details of stuff when I'm playing characters that where things are heavy, it's like a beauty spot or nails or something.
Yeah, and yeah,
It's really
I love that.
important, the visuals for these roles. My first lead role was in Gateway to the West, 1242 Gateway to the West, and my hair was dyed pitch black for it.
Mm,
And was absolutely fine. I had it really long and I had extensions in, and it was pitch black. I was playing a half Iranian, half European woman. And funnily enough, like go back to my genetic history and it goes to a Siberian Iranian tribe. So I was like, the irony. But she had to have blue eyes. Um, but I remember when they said to me, and Genevieve's rapped and everyone started clapping. And I was like, yay, oh my God, started crying, you make a family with these people and then
yeah,
it's gone and it's an adventure. It's like going on how monks used to, I don't know, travel. Like it's heartbreaking but also beautiful. But I remember got into my trailer, took my costume off with the woman that did costume for me, and I was putting my own child clothes on. I was given this really cute tour, and I sat there and I was just crying my eyes out that it was over. I looked in the mirror and I had this black hair, and I was like, "Oh my God, get it off!" I was like, "I get it off," because she was it was not me, and I was like, "I have to get it off." It was
yeah,
funny. My brain was just like not happy being Genevieve with the black hair.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
like characters and self quite separate.
Yeah, no, I've learned so much this year, not from this show, just about learning about the nervous system and how your body doesn't, like you say, your body doesn't know what's real and what isn't real. So I think it's important, I think, just to check in with others, and of course, more importantly, check in with yourself and just have a word with your body to say, look, we're going to do some things today, which may seem like we're being rude to another person or being physically abrasive to somebody else, or say some things that we would never ever do in our non-acting life. So
Yeah.
just bear with me today. It's not real. We'll get through this
Mm.
together. It's going to be okay. Do we have a deal? And your body goes,
That's very healthy. I'm a
yeah.
bit toxic, I think. What I do, I will be like, okay, so I've got to do this scene. I've got to lose it. When in my life did I wish I like lost it and I didn't? And
Yeah.
and then I kind of like, I remember what I felt like and the suppressed emotion. And I almost like use it and I go, okay, well, I was suppressed here. Now it's fucking time to, can I
Mm.
swear? Now it's
Oh,
time
yes, of
to,
course you can.
you know, rage, let it out.
Yeah.
So I use it almost every opportunity as some catharsism. Is that how you say
Yeah.
it?
So like it's cathartic for you, like, it's like as they say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And it's like finally I can say all these things that my brain told me I should have said in that moment there. And then you
Yeah,
think back and it's like, oh, thank God for that. Yeah.
female rage is really important, but we don't really have an outlet. We're not allowed really to like
Right.
be aggressive as women. And so yeah, I just use it as an opportunity for that. And actually, do you know what? When I don't know how to say this without ruining the film. At the end of the film,
Yeah.
my character Sage had to do something to herself. And
Yeah.
I saw that as an opportunity. Should I just say it and then you can beep it out if you want to? But like I saw it as an opportunity. I had to kill myself. And I spoke to some very successful actors beforehand, being like, how do you go about this? What's your like strategy? Blah, 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 talking to them about it. Because very different acting out being killed. I've done that before, but killing yourself is very. And so the way that I did it is that I said to myself, I'm killing this version of myself. So,
Mm,
and that's how I was like, all the things that I haven't, the versions of me that whatever, how I felt about myself, that's like, because I won't go into all of it, but like there was a version of me that I was killing. And
mm.
so I was able to kind of see the beauty in the scene at the same time without taking myself too far.
Yeah, it's no, that's brilliant. What you did, and I think I've got to get this question in, which is, you mentioned, the Dharma actor. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
another couple that spring to mind is, well, they both played the same part. They both played the Joker. It was Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. And of
Yeah.
course Heath Ledger, the story goes, is that he went so deep into the Joker, and that's why his
Mhm.
performance was, and I'll still say it to this day, one of the greatest pieces of acting I have ever seen. And same for Joaquin as well. His Joker was incredible. I
Oh my
thought,
God.
yeah, I
You
thought
see
they
that,
were. Sorry.
you see that clip when he was getting into character, someone spoke and he lost it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the amount of shit that he got for that. And
Oh,
I was like, fucking leave the man alone. This
I
is
know.
his job.
Yeah,
He's got to go all out playing this character. Like his mind is his instrument.
yeah.
He does a shit job. What are you all going to say in the cinema? You're going to say, oh, it wasn't good enough. Or you're all going to talk badly about him. Let the man give it
I know.
100%. And if he is about to start filming, that actor is entitled to 5 minutes of silence before he does an insane scene. It's like asking someone to cry on the spot. It's like you need to respect his craft, and that person shouldn't have been talking.
Yeah.
That irritated me so much. But
I tell you what, it was. I remember seeing that, and funny enough, it was on an American talk show when Joaquin Phoenix was promoting it, and it was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I know Jimmy Kimmel's landed himself in some hot water recently, but I remember watching that, saying, "Hey, what's happening in this moment, Joaquin? What's going on, man?" And I thought, Jimmy, you fucking asshole. He's
they're probers, these people, and especially like I've realized when you're an authentic soul and you're an artist,
yeah,
um, you do things from real reason. A lot of people will never want to go inwards and they will just poke the bear and poke everyone and it's entertainment to them. They are so unhealed. And
hey,
so
fucking man,
yeah,
Jesus,
and so I love it when like
yeah,
Cillian Murphy doesn't rise to it or Jacqueline Phoenix doesn't rise to it. And
yeah,
I'm like, these are real people, they're not little objects for you to probe at and laugh at and stuff like that. Like this guy might in the scene maybe has to murder someone, kill himself, do something really dark. And sorry, but do you want him to be there thinking about making love to his lover or picking flowers or something like that? No,
yeah,
because if he did that, then it would be a shit movie.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Robin what you like, you're the one that's stupid.
I know. I mean, I tell you what, I would just get this in now as well. I mean, that just like you say, you can see him in that moment, and he's going, "Look, can you just stop, please? Look, I'm trying to find something real here. Just, yeah." And you can see him just like, and then you could just see in his eyes, he's like, "I've had enough of this," and he just goes, "Because like, okay, do you know what? Fine, just fuck off, leave me alone. And I just thought,
It's fascinating. Um,
yeah.
have you read about it, where he's come from and his upbringing, him and his brother?
Yeah, I've heard he had a troubled upbringing. I know his brother River died when he was very
Yeah,
young in a
very fascinating.
motorbike accident or something. I'm not sure.
I don't want to say because I don't want to say it wrong, but like
Yeah.
very fascinating upbringing. And I kind of think this is why a lot of people that have had those kind of stories or experiences turn to art. Um,
Mm,
is but then the byproduct of it is obviously fame. And that's
yeah,
what financial stability and the success of being an artist. But I also kind of think every character, I don't, this might be a bit controversial, but like every character that you see
go
on,
for it.
well, every character you see on screen is not just what the writer has written and the director has worked on. It's the person and the character and they've met. And whether it be 80%, 20%, or 90%, 10%, or 50-50, there is something, it's two forces coming together. And then I essentially think the director and is like your guide on a ayahuasca trip.
Yes,
That's essentially what it's like because you're going, it's such a beautiful relationship with a really good director because what you're doing is you're going, I'm an open book to you. And it's like bearing your soul and being totally vulnerable and giving this director the strings to like the deepest wounds within yourself and also like your greatest successes and all your feelings. And um, it's a really, really like special relationship, I think, actor with,
absolutely. Yeah, when it's done correctly and when
oh
it's
yeah,
done right, and you really gel with somebody, then you can create some freaking magic, some
yeah.
fucking true magic. Whereas if it doesn't work, and there's I don't know if you've seen a clip of Gary Oldman doing
Space
drag.
for ego within that relationship.
Yeah,
There's no space for ego in that
no, no,
relationship.
no, not at all.
There's a lot of directors that
Yeah.
that I think just love the power, and it's like they're not the people that you want to be working with.
Yeah, there's a clip from Gary Oldman doing Dracula, and there's he's they're trying to set up a shot, and he's like, "Look, I'm supposed to come in this." He's in full Dracula gear as well, the red cape and everything, and he's going, "Look, I can't come in this." It's like, well, and the director's like just bat him back, not giving him an inch, saying, "Look, you either follow me or you go home," and then he ends up turning around and walking away, and I thought. Well, A, kudos for Gary for staying calm. B, for being professional and delivering a fantastic performance. And C, that director needs to fuck off, and you just think, and also, I mean, it's actually a lesson in saying, okay, you see what he's doing there? Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
Mm.
it. Just
You know
take
what's
that
really
nonsense.
interesting in response to that? I work with Ray Stevenson, who sadly passed away.
Yeah,
I just fell in love with him. Like, wow, what a man. It was like devastating to lose him. But we worked on Gateway to the West together, and I had some of the most beautiful conversations I've ever had in my life with him.
yeah,
And he gave me like lots of guidance and talked about filmmaking because essentially I'm quite early in my career, and he's had a much longer career than me. And he told me that when you work with a director, you're getting on their train and they're driving, they're in control of it. And like sometimes it's like Gary got to do that, but the reality is when it's their film and they've written it and they're directing it, you're employed to bring their story to life. And you have to work with directors that you really like because they're the driving force, they're the ones checking the edit there. And almost if you like clash and you're not fully aligned, then it will come through in the project. And especially in the edit, they'll still edit it in a way that they wanted it. And so your vision of what you wanted won't even come through because you're not in control of that edit and so many things. So you have to try and agree. Otherwise, the project is just it won't be exactly what it's meant to be, I think, sometimes. Um, but no, yeah, Ray gave me lots of wonderful advice. We met on
yeah,
Gateway.
yeah. Well, the rave wherever you are, thank you. I'm sure. Yeah, he'll still be with you on set, just in spirit. And he'll be like, remember that thing I told you, Genevieve? Remember that thing I told you? Yeah.
You honestly sent me the last message. I'll get upset, but the last message I got from him after filming Gateway to the West was, it's funny how like life takes people from you, and how long you've known someone's got nothing to do with your connection.
Mm,
And the message I got from him was this just beautiful message about how people had treated me and how to treat other people and how to take up space in the industry. And it was like, it just felt like a mess. Like it was just, yeah, that was the last message I got from him.
mm,
And I got the stills back from the shoot, the film, and there's like, it's quite powerful because I'm in armor in the scene and he's in this glorious red, I think he's a priest or something. I can't remember what he is, it's gone from my mind. But I'm stood there and there's a table between us and I'm handing him papers in the scene, and I came across the pictures and I was like, God, the what's it called? Not the poeticness or the of the whole situation of this like our relationship and how it was captured on screen and how it was so fleeting and how he sent me this lovely message and gave me so much wisdom. But it was, yeah, and those pictures, like, wow, yeah. I think as an actor, when you get to connect with someone that's been in the industry a lot longer than you and genuinely wants the best from you, that's probably one of the like the best relationships, like
mm.
move your career forward, because it's not just your career, it's your sense of self and taking up space in the in this industry. And like mentorship, I think, is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's just tying into what we were talking about just now off the back of your film Diary of a Ghost and everything, and it just makes me realize, and you talking about your director Ray, and God rest him and all that stuff, but how important it is just to be nice, and it doesn't take a lot, not a huge amount of effort, but just be nice and check in with someone and ask if they're okay, and just be
Makes
a
you
decent person.
like
Yeah.
it genuinely makes you happier. I think one of the most powerful things you can do as an actor is um I see so many of so many actors falling into this stupid way of thinking, which is I didn't get that role, that person got that role. I didn't, why did she get this? Why did he get this? Why didn't I get that? Like, why are they succeeding? What am I doing wrong? What like looking around, seeing everyone kind of going and feeling like they're falling underneath. And actually, what you need to do is you need to go, I know this person and they're doing really well. I know this guy and he's doing really, really fucking well.
Yeah.
And actually, like, wow, I have a relationship with someone's doing that's doing well. Let me support them. And like, you supporting them actually brings you up with them, because they will want you around as they grow. They want support, and like they can support you, and like you go with each other. But the moment that you start dragging someone down that you've been on a similar level to as
Mm,
they go up, you're just going lower. Like you're
yeah.
literally going lower. And
Yeah.
actually just supporting people. Next time, like if anyone listening to this, next time you feel like that jealousy or feeling like someone's doing better than you, or you're not, you feel insecure about the success they're having that you're not having, actually just support them. Like just say that they're doing really well, because the reason you're feeling that is because they are doing really well, and say they're doing really well.
Mm,
And the jealousy will leave you, and your frequency and how you feel will actually attract more to come your way. Like
mm,
I just don't do that. I don't do that. Like this is my journey, and I um dragging anyone succeeding down is just me telling myself that I'm below them and it's not going to happen for me. And like that's just so heavy and
yeah.
sad and stupid. Like I'm not them. They might have got that role because they had a different color eye, or their hair's different, or they knew
Yeah.
one,
It's gonna be really something really small or something really technical. Yeah.
or they're amazing at something that I'm awful at, and in which case
Yeah.
they should get it. Like their career has got nothing. We call ourselves actors and we're all actors, but we are all so wildly different
Exactly.
that then we'll never play the same roles. Obviously, there's a few things in theatre where people replace each other and stuff like that, but and there's the Joker and stuff like that. But typically, we won't ever play the same roles. We will always play different characters because we're different people. So what
Yeah.
the hell is the point in comparing our careers?
Exactly. And also, like, some of us will play like Iago, or they'll play in Othello, or Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing, or play the Joker, or play Hamlet, or something like that. Yeah, there is the same part, but we all bring our own uniqueness to
Yeah.
that. We'll be our own version of Hamlet. We'll be our own version of this. You're right.
I have to get the door.
Okay, okay, it's all right. We'll just pause there. One sec.
Is it okay?
Yeah. And we're back. Cool. All good. So yeah, so we all bring our own authentic experiences to every part, and no, like you say, like it's the same role, but it's always going to be different. And I just mentioned just one last thing about the Joker. I'll say is that I never thought a performance would match Heath Ledger's one. And to be honest with you, when I saw Joker coming out, Joaquin Phoenix, my first reaction was, oh, for God's sake, not another remake or something like that. And I went to see it, and I heard some good things about it, and I thought, okay, I'll go and see it. The two are level.
Yeah.
They're
They're
level.
both incredible actors.
Yeah. They're just, oh man. It's a beautiful work from both of them. And Heath, thank you. Yeah, God, we could talk about all this stuff for ages, but I want to talk about,
Actors that aren't with us anymore.
yeah,
You've got to protect, like, artists.
protect
Really
us.
great artists, protect them, yeah, because they bear their soul for these roles,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but I think things are improving, in the industry. We've got intimacy coordinators now, which I think people had to really fight to get that taken more seriously. And then I think a lot of roles now they bring on psychologists on set, and um, yeah, I think the industry is really progressing in terms of like mental health. Still a long way to go. And
yeah.
I really, who I always feel for actually is like the ADs. I'm always like, if they have a minute and they've got to talk to me, I'm like, sit down,
I
come
will
in my
talk to
trailer,
you.
sit down for a second, because they all work so hard.
Yeah, yeah, they do. And like runners and everybody, and a healthy set is a set that looks after one another. There is no hierarchy. Everyone's level. It doesn't matter if you're a runner or the director or the sound guy or the catering van. Everyone is level. Everything is one.
100%. And
Yeah,
you know what? Some of the sets I've been on, funnily enough, like a costume, it's usually like someone from makeup or someone in costume or an AD, you'll just have this like lovely bond with them and they get you through filming. It's them, like, especially, the ADs that go, do you want a cup of tea?
yeah,
Like, like that's like the most loved you feel. And like, yeah, I think having a good relationship with everybody you interact with on set's really important.
yeah,
Being around really toxic people on set.
yeah, yeah. We've all been there. We've all had that experience. Yeah,
Screaming, the shouting, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like I can understand if you are actually doing something wrong, but when people do that, I'm like, just go in your trailer and punch a cushion, please.
yeah.
Like
Or
get it
scream
out.
into a pillow or something.
People, like, it's just film. Like chill out.
Yeah, yeah. When you're not working down a coal mine, it's all right. You're going to be
Yeah,
okay. But
hate
I
love
know.
that director. The really powerful, quiet ones are always very interesting.
Yeah, you just see their mind working. You try to like,
Oh yeah, the cogs turning and you looking at them and they kind of scare you, but in like the nicest way because it's like wow, like their vision, how they're holding this all in their head, how they're guiding all of this, and you look at them and they're quiet, and then people that ADs and stuff speaking for women and like those ones, I'm always like wow.
yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, we're a bit pushed for time, Genevieve, but because I know you've got to shoot off to other things. But I've got to talk about Bridgerton. I've got to mention that at some point. And it's talk about sets and everything. Those sets of you guys look insane.
Oh, it was amazing. That was the time of my life to film.
Yeah, but how was it? How was Bridgerton?
It was the time of my life. I mean, it was a really rare opportunity in that I was with so many people. Like the cast is massive. There's so many people.
Enormous, enormous. Yeah,
When all the trailers were lined up, it was like a trailer park. It was insane. And so many women, so many lovely women. And yeah, it was just like a dream. I absolutely I had the best time. And Tom Verica was the director uh, that I was there for most of. There was obviously there was quite a few they changed, like Trisha Brock and stuff like that. But Tom Verica was just amazing. He made everyone feel so valued because a lot of the things that my character had to do was um, disrupting the energy of a scene. So it wasn't necessarily me hosting the conversation. It was often like there was like main conversations, and then it would be me disrupting the energy of it, the flow of it, creating like a little stab, because that's who my character was. And a lot of that had to be done with looks and body language and tone of voice and eyes. And my character just was like a very bitchy girl. Um, and yeah, it was just really nice. I felt very supported. And I remember Tom saying to me, some of the hardest acting is non-verbal acting,
Mm.
means getting your story across like that. And it was really interesting because I was on it for so long. Um, and sometimes it was like, is is more going to happen? Like, am I going to do more, or am I never knew what was going to happen? And I was filming a film at the same time, so I couldn't actually make every day, which was a little bit frustrating.
Mm.
So there was like, I think there was like a few scenes that I was essentially cut from, which is gut-wrenching to say.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, but I was doing a film at the same time, and like if you
No
look at
way.
my character, she started off like I was really tan, so I'm a bit Spanish, and I'd been in the sun. It was summer. I was really tan, and my hair had gone like a lighter brown color. And then I started filming a film, and I went to like my winter color, which is much paler, and I had pitch black hair. So my character literally changed so much, but no one seemed to notice because the outfits and the lighting were all so different. And it was like, how long was it? I might be wrong, but I think it was like over like 7 months that I was on
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, time of my life.
That's
Uh,
amazing. I
loved
mean,
it.
7 months being surrounded by, because you shot quite a few scenes in the garden as well, and you've got there like little cups of
At a
tea.
house,
Yeah, yeah, at the house.
hosting a house party,
Yeah,
a garden party in a big mansion. I remember seeing that on the script. It was like Miss Livingston's house, Livingston's house.
yeah,
And I remember turning up to set that day. I felt like a rock star in my head. Like go out of the car, and I was like, "This is my house." And obviously, like we were saying, self and that character you're playing is separate.
yeah.
But like
On that occasion, it was
that occasion,
we're
though,
joined.
we were one, and we were having a great time.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, you're allowed like a couple of those moments, right? Yeah, I can get used to this. I like this
Yeah,
place. If you're,
it was really, really fun.
yeah,
Um, really fun. And it was, I think one of the best parts about it was there was a lot of up and coming actors on it, and we were
yeah,
all at similar stage
brilliant.
of our journey. And then the woman that played my mum, she'd done some incredible stuff, and she was like another mentor for me. So it
Mm.
was just those relationships are just the best. Like they make it all worth it.
Yeah. Did you meet the main guys? Jonathan Bailey, Luke Thompson, the girls as well. Did you meet like the main guys as well?
Yeah, yeah, we're all together. And I remember our first day, we were like we got put in a circle, and it was the hottest day of the year.
Mm.
Oof.
And those
And
costumes as well. Oof.
we were in a circle, and it was like the hottest day of the year. We had to introduce ourselves and stuff like that. It was really nice. Um, and yeah, I used to talk to Luke quite a lot on that day actually, because you're stood around, you can't go back to your trailer. I remember a really weird conversation about if what animals we'd be. He was really funny. He's really fun.
Yeah.
Everyone was really lovely, had really nice chats between takes. Um, just lovely. Yeah, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
It looks like one of those experiences where you like everything we're talking about today, just making sure you've got a good director, a set where everyone looks after each other and everything. It looks like Bridgerton was that, and it definitely
Yeah,
gets
it
the
was
vibe
like
of that.
pinch me. But you know the one thing that was like I got the role, and I ended up self-managing my contract, like my because I had an agent at the time who was not a good agent. and he lost me some money, and it was just,
Okay.
ugh, he was awful. I was like double booked for something. He was just so all over the place. And so I ended up like calling production and just managing it myself.
Mm,
Um, I really stupidly should have used that as an opportunity to take the contract and go to a wonderful new agent, and I didn't. Um,
mm.
so there's a lot of lessons learned from that kind of
Yeah.
phase of um, beautiful lessons, hard lessons. Um, but yeah, I mean, it also, when you have like that little pinch of success and that bit of success, I think you think it's just going to happen again. And when you're a year later and you've done some stuff, but like you haven't booked a role like that again, or you don't know when your next kind of different job is that isn't Bridgerton, um, you can be like, huh, well, how does this make sense? Um, and it is a roller coaster. And then this is when you know, the working on yourself between the jobs is so important. And I have to tell myself, I don't know what's going to come next. And that's what's so exciting about it, because
Mm,
it will be something that comes next, because
absolutely.
I audition all the time. Um, and I never knew that I was going to get Bridgerton. Like the story of how I got Bridgerton is really funny. And you don't have it until you have it, you know? So
Yeah.
this is just the nature of the beast that we deal
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Can you tell that story? And I know we're a bit pushed for time, but can you tell that story? How you got Bridgerton?
Yes. So the very beginning of like my career, when I said I was doing stunt work and stuff, I auditioned to play a maid
Hmm.
and didn't get it. So then I was like, oh, okay. So I think that was season one. Season two, I auditioned to play a girl who was being painted and had a romance with, oh my God, I don't know how I've forgotten his name. I literally can't remember his name. One of the Bridgerton boys.
Hmm.
Um, and I didn't get that, but the audition was really good, and I think I got good feedback from it. But that was only a day's role, or like a week's role or something like that.
Yeah.
I was really sad about it. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I didn't feel rejected or anything like that, but I was just sad, like, oh, I would have been perfect for that. That would have been so good to get. But obviously it involved nudity and it was only like a few days. So I think it was a blessing in disguise, because then I got asked to audition again for a character that, like, I don't even know who it was. Um, I think it was a lady. I don't know. But it wasn't the character that I got. And auditioned for it, didn't hear anything, like for quite a long time. And I was working on a film that was meant to be going, it was a two-hander. Oh my God, 90-page script. And I was in every scene. Yeah. Filming in Ohio. And I was just in the process of like rehearsals and meetings and stuff like that. It would have been like, it could have been amazing, but it also could be awful. Like it was one of those jobs that you don't know what you're really getting into. And I was planning on going to the States to do that. And I was sat with a friend having coffee and totally forgotten about this audition that I did, because I didn't even know it was Bridgerton. I like maybe thought for a second, but I have to be totally honest. Like I do an audition and I chuck it out of my mind. It's done for me.
No, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
I don't think about it at all. It's a really weird skill I have that all my friends are like, "What about this?" And I'm like, "What?" Like
Yeah.
I just, I just don't. So I was sat having a coffee and like talking about, okay, I'm going to America, then blah 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 blah, and I get a call from my agent. He's like, "You got the job," and I was like, "What
Which,
job?"
which one?
Yeah, he was like, "Bridgerton." I was like, "I auditioned for Bridgerton." What? What?
Is
I
that,
didn't know that.
I didn't remember doing that. It's like, yeah, that
Yeah,
self-tape you did 2 weeks ago.
it was like I think it was like months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was like months. I think, and then this kind of shock kicked in,
Yeah.
and I was like, I started crying. I actually videoed it. My friend videoed it because I was like, wait, what? What? I was like, I don't even. This is so weird. And then I was also kind of relieved that I wasn't doing the film in the States because
Mm,
I wasn't feeling it 100%, but I didn't have any other projects, so I was a bit like, "Ugh, can't say no."
yeah.
Um, and I was like, oh, thank God, that's that problem solved. Um, and then it started overlapping with the other project I was doing, and it all worked out in the end. So yeah, it
There you
was
go. It's funny how these things work out, but they always work out, which is brilliant.
well, yeah, you just gotta trust the process and be yourself. And bloody hell, I don't know when my next one is, but
Don't worry, they'll be here soon. You'll be
yeah,
here soon.
ordered so much recently. But it's always like that. It's always like that. And it's like I think um honest, yeah, it was so fun. And then we went to LA. And yeah, I've got friends for life from that project.
Yeah,
And I
that's it's
very
true. You meet all kind. You meet professional as well as deep personal ones on set, and I think any project you do, film, theatre, short film, whatever it is, you always make a connection one way or another. Even doing something like this, talking in podcast land and all that kind of thing. You make these connections with people, and it's brilliant. Obviously, Genevieve, I could have you here for another 2 hours. Honestly, I've just got so many more things I'd love to ask you, but no, but let's do this again sometime. I'd love to have you back, and we'll do
the
another one of
next
these.
role.
Yeah. Hey,
Next role.
the next role. Yeah, obviously so much more from today. I've got more questions about Bridgerton and stuff, but with that next role, which you will land, I'm sure, will probably be a driving force as well. But yeah, I'd love to have you back. So I've just got two quick fire questions left for you today. Last two questions for every guest. First of all, what would you say was a bit of advice you wish you heard when you were starting out?
Yes. Okay. What was Robin? They're the
Yeah.
most powerful spiritual creatures. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah, no, I love a Robin. Yeah,
Oh my God. Sorry, I got attacked by one not that long ago. It kept on hitting my head, and
really.
people kept filming it. It was obsessed with me. It followed me for 2 hours. It was bizarre. Sorry, so
Yeah,
I've got like an obsession with Robin as well.
yeah.
Okay.
Spiritual guides trying to contact you or something. Hey, I'm okay. I'm all right. Or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. What would I say advice to someone at the beginning? I think this career comes in tiers, like tiers, and you it's like you do the classes and you take the shitty roles that you don't want to do. And I think you just have to put yourself out there, just put yourself out there and just yeah, honestly just put yourself out there. Like the tiny things that you do at the beginning that feel so pointless are the reason that I'm now actually working on some great projects. That film Diary of a Ghost was on this small commercial, and it was the COVID supervisor that directed it in the end. Um, How I Got Bridgerton was the casting director knew me because I did a workshop with one of her assistants, and I didn't think anything of it. Like how I got my first agent, I went to this awful workshop, but there was an agent there. Am I with that agent now? No, but he got me on Spotlight, and that was a
Mm.
stepping stone.
Yeah,
So you sort of see it as like there's stepping stones, and every contact that you make in this industry that values you and likes you and enjoyed working with you, they also know a pool of people that you don't know. And you have no idea like what seeds you plant and where they grow. And you just gotta plant the seeds and keep watering yourself and trust that they will grow in the most bizarre ways. It's like this career is survival of like who can survive the longest.
hmm
People drop off, but I almost see this career as like you just sprinkle seeds and things start growing, and sometimes it's weeds and sometimes it's flowers, and you've got no clue where
mm.
it's going from, what cracks it's going to come through, what walls you're going to climb. Like it is just bizarre, and there is no right way forward. There's no traditional path. There's no right way to do it. You just have to put yourself out there and trust it.
Yeah, I'm reminded of a bit of advice I actually got from another previous episode. I was lucky enough to speak to. We mentioned Arsenal earlier, but I spoke to I was very lucky to interview David Dean, who was like the former chairman of the club and was the chairman when we went unbeaten in the 2003-4 season. And there's one bit of advice he said in that episode, and he says to a lot of people, but it will stick with me, which was you don't get anywhere unless you stick your neck out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Oh, you just have to. You have to, and you just keep learning. Like no one is coming to save you. Like that is the reality. Nobody's coming to save you. No one's coming to pay your rent. No one's coming to give you that job. You have to be the answer to their prayers. Like you have to go and look for it, and you have to make it yourself. And you have to be bold, and you have to be brave. And I think your career will be so much better also if you are nice to be around and
yeah,
people like find you interesting to talk to. And so yeah, it's all great being a great actor, but if you're horrible to be around on set with, then you probably won't be working
exactly.
unless you're a nepo baby or you're really well connected.
Yeah,
Like people want to work with people. Like the other day I watched a 2 hour video instead of watching Netflix and stuff whilst doing other things. I just was cooking and it was all about poetry and it was with Helen Bonham Carter and Jason Isaacs and some other.
mm,
I then was invited into a room and walk in and who's there? Jason Isaacs. And I was like, what? I've just watched this incredible, really niche video all about poetry. And I'm a poet and I write. So I go up to him and he's with his brother and I just go, oh, I just want to talk to him. And so I start talking to him. We talk about poetry and writing. And he can't quite believe that I've seen this video. And we have this really lovely conversation. And I could have just stood there and not approached him or had a conversation. Or you could have done the typical thing of being like, oh my God, her
yeah.
favorite.
I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah,
I love your work.
yeah, but these people are artists and they want to talk about art. And that's the reason
Yeah,
they're doing it. And it was so nice because I'd learned this thing and learned about this topic. And he was like interested in this topic too. And it was just a really nice conversation. And again, might bump into him again and then you can go, oh, I saw this guy last time. You
yeah,
just never know what is going to happen. And I think just chat to as many people in the industry as possible and
yeah.
just yeah.
And they're people as well. I remember I met Ed Sheeran actually last year, and I used to work in a pub, and he came in one day with his kids and stuff. It was a quiet Sunday. I just went up to him and I thought, I'm going to have to say it. I said to him, can I just say, dude, I'm such a huge fan, and
Yeah.
I love your work. And he was like, and he shook my hand. He's like, oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I said, yeah, well, so funny enough, I was there for your first ever Wembley show. I was there for that,
Yeah.
and I was up in the gods. But man, honestly, it's like one of the best nights out I ever had was at your show. So thank you for that. And he was like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I was just like, he was just a regular guy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I could have talked to him for hours. I'm trying to get him on here actually, but that will happen at some point. I'm putting it out to the universe. But these people, they're just people. Yeah, we see them on the screen and they do fantastic work. But they're just like everybody else. They just want to have a good time and just not feel like, yeah,
I think
just
England
like
quite
a
a good
regular person.
the way English people treat celebrities and known people. I think we're much better than like the
Um,
States.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Like you don't really see much paparazzi around now. I was having a conversation with a photographer at an event the other day. Not many paparazzi in the UK now. Um, I think it's like a safe,
Thankfully. Yeah.
quite a good place. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. I love it. And finally today, what would you say has been an experience or experiences you've had in your career up to now that you'll never, ever forget?
Oh my goodness. Do you want to know one
Yeah.
that sounds so random? I
Please.
I danced with Will Ferrell.
Did you?
Yeah, and he was so funny and so nice.
Yeah.
Um, I like him because I think he was talking about how his dad's not in his life. My dad's not in my life, either. And he's just a fucking cool guy.
Yeah.
And I was on this night shoot and it was at the beginning of my career and I was dancing and he was just making me say my name in really funny accents in a French voice. It was so odd, but in like the best way. And he was making me laugh. and then we just had to dance together. And I love Step Brothers. I love
Oh, brilliant film.
I
Brilliant.
love I love funny people that don't give a shit
Yeah.
about what other people think of them. And he was just so cool. And it was so funny. And that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Yeah. I don't think because a night shoot, they're tough because you've got to be wide awake at midnight,
I
1 o'clock.
love night shoots personally,
Do
but
you?
yeah, I'm a night owl. Like honestly, I have to really try hard to sleep normal hours. Like I could easily stay up until 5 a.m. and then
Mm.
wake up at like 10. That's like my dream sleep schedule, but it's really bad. So I don't do it.
No, get some sleep. It's good for you. It's good for
Yeah.
you. It's much better for you than you
Even
think.
the day, easy. I
Yeah,
love
but
night.
yeah, but you get into bed at night and you snuggle, you wake up and it's
No,
no.
not
Okay, all
it's
right.
a genetic thing. Did a DNA ancestry testing, and it will tell you what whether you're a night owl or a morning person.
Yeah,
And said I'm genetically wired to be awake at night.
really.
I was like, what the hell? Yeah, because Bridgerton was night shoots quite a lot of the time as well,
Okay.
and I was not tired. I was having a
Yeah,
great time, and then I
yeah.
get sleep.
Yeah, I've only had one experience of a night shoot thus far. I needed maybe need a few more, and maybe they'll warm to me at some point. Who knows? I think they
Well,
will.
the rest of the world, they're magic because the rest of the world's asleep, and
Mm,
not the whole world, obviously, but the world that you're in,
yeah,
and you're there creating a movie or a film or TV, whatever, movie, film, same thing. And everyone, there's like not really any distractions. Your loved ones are asleep, like your agent's not going to call you. You don't need to reply to emails. No random phone numbers popping up on your phone.
yeah,
Like nothing happening that you're missing.
yeah,
So you are just like fully present. It's a black abyss outside of the world that you're filming. I love it.
yeah. I no, I do see the appeal. I did a gig in Leicester Square. We were filming in the Prince Charles Cinema, which is literally right in the middle of the place. And we had to do a scene outside, and we walked outside at 3 a.m. in Leicester Square. And I have never seen it so quiet. I was like, this is like a scene from 28 Days Later or something. There's nobody here. Because
Yeah.
usually, I will admit I'm a lark. I'm not an owl, if I'm perfectly honest. But if I have to shoot during the night, then so be it. But yeah, I remember looking around thinking, like, usually you see Leicester Square, you can't move in Leicester Square, as you know, and seeing nobody there, I was like, this is strange, wonderful, and scary all at the same time. It was
I
wow.
used to work nights as a high-end waitress when I was like doing my stunt. Like when I was just starting, I was living in a room for £350 and it was
Wow.
an old NHS building and I was working nights doing like this high-end waitressing for like millionaires in their like mansion, like crazy five what do you call it, five-story houses in Chelsea
Stories, yeah.
and Central. And yeah, it was very eye-opening. Gave me a lot of experience that I can like apply now. But
Yeah.
that was interesting. I saw some insane places at insane times.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, I need to do another one at some point. I will do because when acting takes off, I'll be required to do that. Maybe we'll do Bridgerton. Who knows? Let's see what happens.
Like you do well in Bridgerton.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, you could play like one of the like lords.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
think Bridgerton, and my accent's quite similar to Bridgerton. I just need to like RP it up a little bit and just be like, oh, hello. What a wonderful day. Nice to see you. Well, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's in my
Like,
wheelhouse.
you know what though, when I've got a natural RP accent because I'm from Oxfordshire and a military family.
Yeah.
And in London, people always assume it's because you're rich, because you're like people that usually have an RP accent in London or like went to private school and stuff like that. They can't fathom that other like in Oxfordshire, it's just the accent.
Mm,
Um, but also, uh, oh yeah, I can't when people try and do an RP accent,
yeah.
but they're English people and they do it like really over the top.
Yeah.
I'm oh my God, please stop.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like so offensive. I
I
find
know.
it offensive. There's some people who do RP accents because they speak a bit like they've got a different accent. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And
No.
they're British and they still can't do it. And I'm like, what?
I was and then they just go, oh, I'm talking in a British accent. No, no, you're not. You just look like
Excellent.
you're just talking. You just look like an idiot, mate. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I think growing up, I was a bit like your accent when I was younger. But then, in having worked in hospitality, I think, and I was around a lot of guys who were born and bred East End of London, and like really, really thick accent. And then you just
Yeah.
can't help but just pick it up a little bit, and you start saying things, like people say, like, I will go with you to the supermarket, or
Yeah.
I'll go, and then sometimes I find myself going, I'll go with you to the supermarket, or something like
Yeah.
that. It just slips out, and I'm like, because you're around it all the time, and it just kind of weaves its way in, doesn't it? When you're,
Most of my friends are like European, so like from Czech or Sweden or Norway or America. One of my friends is like French American. I
mm,
don't really have any English friends. One of them's Ukrainian, one's Arab. Yeah, this is the thing of London though. Like
yeah,
everyone is from such different worlds and you all come together. I kind of love
yeah.
it.
It's so multicultural. We're really lucky to have London. You can literally, and not only can you eat at a restaurant from a different area of the globe, but you meet the people from those countries, and and they're so welcome. And hearing and the stories, I don't know, the stories that people tell you, like you saying there, you went diving illegally
Mombasa.
in
Yeah.
Bombassi, yeah, and holding a puffer fish. You're like, look what I've got, and like Genevieve put that down, it's going to kill you, and. But they still, oh, mate, it's brilliant. Oh, Genevieve, I could literally have you here for another 2 hours just talking about the career, the industry in London and everything in between. So, yeah, because so many more things left for you. But I'll link Diary of a Ghost and also your Substack as well, where you do your writing and stuff. That's below. And I've got one really, really last quick one here. You mentioned poetry. Are you going to release those poetry? Is there a book in the works?
Yes, it's like I'm not from a family of writers, so I'm learning a lot about how to go about that.
Nice.
Anybody loves my poetry, then please do reach out if you have any contacts.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm planning on releasing a poetry book, but I want to make sure that it's like a kind of I want to include visuals and photographs in it and have it as like a artistic, not just poetry. So it would be quite a creative book. So I'm in no rush. So I'm
Yeah.
slowly trying to build an audience of
Take your
people
time.
that,
Take your time.
yeah, that
Yeah.
like the poetry. But it's coming, yeah.
Nice one. I look forward to it. If there's any samples at all, early copies, please do send them over. I'd love to read them. And yeah, you love a good poet. Anyway, Genevieve, thank you so much for today. This has been an absolute privilege and joy, and thank you being A, for being so generous with your time, and B, to be having speak so candidly and open about the journey you went on with Diary of a Ghost, and of course Bridgerton as well, and everything that you've done in between. It's been a privilege, an absolute privilege. So thank you so much. You're definitely coming back on. You're definitely coming back on at some point. I've got to get more stories out of you
Next
and stuff.
role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then next role, of course. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Sorry, Genevieve, so I need to call you Jen there. If you just hang on, I'll finish the recording and we'll have a tiny debrief, then you can shoot back off to your weekend. And all that's left to say is, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Uncensored Critic podcast, and I'll be back very, very soon. And Genevieve Chenneour, thank you.
Thank you.